when we started to go through this footage, it was such a different experience because you have time to think about it and reflect on it.
We're really blessed because there is so much footage.
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't know what. Once we had a few songs, and we agreed, oh, we like this, it's going well. Then it won't last, and that's what makes it cool because you gotta be there, and then it's gone.
It's one time.
Mm-hmm.
Dre, it might be nice to give a little bit of background about how you became involved and what the initial idea for the film was.
Yeah, so my involvement started really when Josh called me one afternoon out of the blue and said, "Can you come to the desert tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. What are we going to do? Are we going to shoot something?" And I didn't, and that's kind of the thing, I think our relationship from the beginning, I wouldn't ask what we're going to shoot there. It's like I said, okay, I'll be there. And I went there the next day. I brought one other guy, so we don't have to carry all the cases. And they did this beautiful photo shoot, really like pushed through by Josh's inspiration. We went to this art installation. I arrived, there was Iggy sitting there on the porch, and I gave him a hug. I wasn't an Iggy fan, so I was like, "Hi Iggy," that's Iggy. And we went to this art installation, did an amazing photo shoot. It turned out to be really like the visual signature of this project, and the challenge was to match, the sophistication, the production of the music, and Josh obviously, as a creative person, has an output, an audio output and a visual output, and I was kind of the instrument of translating that visual into
I think
real
you
image.
sell yourself way short because the fact that Drake comes from just a different world and all the norms of, when you're doing something in music, there's roads that become paved. Well, you do this and then you do that, and like that's what you do. But you were coming from the jungle, and not having this common reference point, and so turning something off kilter into something beautiful. Because if you're making this thing and it's just a couple guys in a chair talking about this and that, it's kind of
yeah, the project was secret, as we know, like from people who know post-property version, the album it was started in secret, and adding me to it was kind of the continuation of like the mystery, because I come from a different world and I could.
There's a drunk guy right there.
And I could put it
It's probably my fault.
Oh no, I'm going that way, baby. But it's impossible, so I might as well.
Just interrupt as long as you can.
Carry on.
Go right ahead.
Thanks.
We don't know.
Yeah, I think I lost.
Well, how though? How did you lose your train of thought? I don't know how that happened.
Wrong happened. Ecstasy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So next question. Go ahead.
Let's take it to the audience. Someone. Well, I think we got someone with a mic, and we can.
Is it you? Do you have a mic?
Do you need us to point out where to go? Yeah. Row 12. No.
I know it's difficult because you haven't seen it.
Hi there. First of all, I'd just like to thank you, Josh, for some exceptional music over the years, so thank you for that.
I really, honestly, I appreciate that.
In terms of this album, one thing I found very interesting was that you had yourself and Dean on the record. So there's a lot of Queens there, but it's very distinctively not a Queens album. And I was just wondering, in terms of the creative process, what did you do to make sure it was an Iggy album and not Queens?
Well, every situation is situational, and because it's different every time, and you don't have to bring your habits, you just bring yourself, and the positive friction of colliding with somebody else. You're just after the good sparks, and it's okay to, everything you did before gives you a vantage point to take a risk and a leap, and even before I knew about Iggy, I was influenced by him because I was listening to bands he influenced. So, and for years, I thought, oh, I'd love to make a record with Iggy. I would do everything I know how to do. And then all of a sudden that day comes, and I felt a little scared and nervous, but I also felt like, no, I'm ready because I'll do anything, you know. And I also think that there's like this, everybody here, this great silent horde of people looking for the chance to come together and be like, fucking Iggy, man, it's, you know, the ultimate risk taker. And people get hung up on like, I cut myself and I do all this stuff, but what is the mind behind the person that would take this chance and seize that moment, walk out on the crowd, you know, for the first time? That takes a lot of sand to do that, you know? And so, and it also takes him dropping that ego to come out. We knew each other just a little bit, and he didn't know anybody else. And to come out there and take a risk, you have to leave what you did behind, and that's a real big inspiration to do the same. And even if you're just a little part of some beautiful amalgam of things, that's a great part to be. So sweeping floors, playing guitar, hitting record, that's yours. It's better than not being there. So you can kind of, it was easy to just throw yourself away and give yourself away, and nobody knew we were doing it, so if it sucks, you just bury it in the dirt. Like, for real. Like,
That goes the same with the film, right? That's how we approach the film as well.
yeah.
If we wouldn't have liked it, we would have never seen, or only we would have watched it, right?
Yeah, again, not the heading on the video.
It's interesting that you mentioned there about being scared, because one of the things that you guys will see in the film is, I think it was Matt who texted you saying, dude, I'm fucking shit scared. And it was a
The night
joke.
before, well, I mean, Helders has a great sense of humor, and it's very dry, and also I was reading it, and said, I think it said, dude, I'm fucking terrified. So I was like, yeah, wait, shit, are you all right? And then it dawned on me, I didn't think about it, he's only played in one band, and this is the first time he's doing something else, and it was, and I understood what he meant, so I just said, I'm too, we're good, you know. I mean, once you pass the point of no return, you just pass the point of no return. So you go, well, I guess we better go forward. And I like when you've given your choice away and it's too late. So insurmountable odds are wonderful because, you know, it's okay to fall and fail down and shit. So yeah, it was great.
All right, let's take another question from the audience. How about this guy from the front here? Trump man, you'll get your chance.
So, like, what would you say was was there a high point in the recording? Was there like one day out of all of them that you go, I could go back to that and want to be there again?
Well, I think I enjoy transitions. The moment where one thing ends and another begins. I said the definition of transition, sorry. Because it's got all the reality of taking the chance and all the hope of what's left. So that first day is really important. The first song is so important. You know, I don't know if I'm too superstitious, but I do know if that first song doesn't work, twice I've walked immediately, which you need to have the guts to walk and realize, if it's starting like this, let's end it like this, you know. And that first day we did the song "Break Into Your Heart," and Iggy's in the room. We're all in this tiny little room playing together, and the song ends, and there's that little bit of quiet, and that's a good moment. Yeah, like I said, being really present in the now and being able to sort of capture these moments. And like I play music and I try to do that as hard as I can, but when it flips over into the visual side of that too, then I don't really know that much about that. I know what I like Lux Interior said, I don't know about art, but I know what I like. But to have someone with an eye that can actually translate that and take it further, and then make it exciting, it's like using what we did as gasoline to fuel something even more with the right type of fuel, you know, and so it's not over yet, you know, and that's a wonderful spot to be in. You just want to hold on to all that stuff. But I do think between music and the film that it got captured and pulled out of the timeline, and that's pretty good, you know. And you know, not everyone's gonna like that, but that's okay, because it's still got, you know. So.
Just to say quickly, visually the film, it ties into the album. It feels like an extra. If you think of the album as the heart of this project.
I wonder why that happened.
Why did that? I mean, was there discussion about how do we do this?
I think it's unnatural. So after this desert shoot, it went into like let's do more because it looked so good. It looked so real. One of the key interviews is Josh in his studio, and most of those things is shot only with me and him together. So there's nobody there. There's no lighting guys. There's no sound man or anything. It's only the two of us, and I think you can feel that very close and very real. You cannot get this when you have some guys with duct tape on their belts running around.
The craft services table is over there. Grab some M&Ms.
So this is how this was done. Very small team, very real, and you can see sometimes his face is out of focus because I'm running on two cameras myself and
Naturally,
and he's the out of focus stuff as well. So that's how it is all progressed, and in the end we said we have this mountain of footage. Only this interview or this conversation is like 4 hours long in the back of the studio, and you can see, I mean, the film is now 90 minutes, so we have like, in our Miami session, it was another 4 hours, and all the concerts we went from concert to concert. We were cutting as well, constantly from Hamburg to Berlin to Royal Albert Hall, back to Paris, etc., etc. So it's like a really really exciting journey through this, and very close journey. Yesterday when I watched it, I was sitting more in the front, and it really feels, when you will see it, it feels like you're there.
Well, but something I would add to what that feels important about what we did is that I was saying I don't want to alter what's there from that photo shoot, because that, you know, any science film, if this subject knows you're there, it changes how you act. So the goal is to sort of be accepted into the gang and not affect what's going on, but accept what's going on and steal those moments that are, and not alter them, and even down to photos. So Dre did such a wonderful job of, if you set up something, you've set it up. But if you take a photo without altering it, if you film without distracting even just a single piece of dust, then you're taking it as it is, and without changing it in order to suit the filming of it.
Yeah, because it's all there. So it is never we would like, okay, let's set this up. It's like there's the great interview with Iggy in the Hammett. So it looks like, I've never seen Iggy in this Hammett, but Iggy, where's your favorite place in this house? And he said, the Hammett? Okay, let's do the interview in the Hammett. And that's it. Like it was.
I think the first hammock interview ever.
Yeah.
Setting the hammock fucking bar. On that, that's serious.
No, but that's
Okay, who else has got?
Right over.
Okay, how about row 3 middle?
What about drunk boy?
Well, you'll get your chance, come on. He's a sober up, I think.
No, I'm cool.
Water, aisle 1.
Did you feel more under pressure making a record with one of your heroes than when you're making one of your own records?
No.
I don't mind the tough situation, because in a certain way everything else has led up to that, and all your life before is some mantra of a rehearsal to get there, and so excited is better. Pressure, I don't know. if there was pressure, I didn't mind that. The excitement was overwhelming. And to, not just to get the chance, but take the chance too, you know? So it was good to have that. Whatever the word is, that was good. Yeah. Well, you know, like, being understood is tricky, and the right words are tricky, but the feeling's right, you know? And so that, that's why I like music, because it just follow the feeling and fuck the words for a while, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's why I can, as a neutral observer, you have to understand that it's like, okay, we just make a record. It sounds like, oh, let's make a record, but somebody has to commit like 1.5 years out of his life to something like that, emotionally, and you're fully in it. If you want to do something like that, right, you have to do it like with everything you got, specifically in a situation like that, and that's what happens. And it's a big decision, like to do that, and that was what happened. And you can.
Well, I also think too that I really hope that Iggy, you know, texted me because of what happened before. So that's why you know, you end up putting your name on something, and so if it's going to have your name on it, then you know, put everything onto that so that it begets something else. That it's like there's a trajectory of a lifetime, you know, and I hope that he texted me because of the trajectory before, because that would mean that what I said was true, and that would be good for me because I put it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
With that in mind, does this particular project occupy, you know, a more special place for you than other things, because it is so different and it's one-off?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's yeah. If you'd have told the 13-year-old me that just had a boombox and like, tapes in my pocket, skateboarding through the desert, guess what? That Repo Man soundtrack.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, I probably would have gave the finger, but here I am trying to like thumbs up the finger, you know.
You aced that live.
You
aced that live.
Thank you.
Alright, another question. You can get your question.
Yeah,
What's
John's
our
boy
one?
over here.
Oh, thanks, man.
I don't.
First thing, I want to thank and congratulate you guys for an amazing fucking record and an incredible fucking tour. Iggy Pop at the Royal Albert Hall is the most punk rock shit I've ever seen in my whole fucking life.
Before you go on, it's something you should know. I said to him,
I love you too, man.
and I love you 3. All 3.
And I love you 5 fucking million.
Stop one-upping me, I'll kill you. No, really. I asked him, what's the top 10 things you wanted to do, and number 2 was the Royal Albert Hall, you know, which is hard to say for some reason, Royal Albert. Who's drunk right now, but and we got there, and those types of things, like going to bat for each other, that's like, it's a cool example. People say stuff all the time, oh, do this, you know what the truth is, you should do this.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
That's just their face making noise, trying to convince you to do something. But when you can actually do something and stand next to somebody and witness a thing that you did together, then that's an actual, the third truth, yours, mine, what actually happened. And that, to do that with Iggy, that's good.
Fucking incredible, dude.
I'm so stoked. I'm just gonna let it go for a sec. I was so fucking stoked.
I'm still pregnant, and it's been over a year.
I know, and it's mine.
I knew it. What I wanted to say was, it's going to be fantastic seeing you guys before you knew the effect this has on people. The fact that it's one time only, we get to back and forth the excitement between audience and band. What I want to ask is there a chance for you to direct fictional shit? Or is it, this shouldn't be the end of it, man. Come on, throw the dog a bone, would you?
Well, the dog bone's a totally separate thing. Well, like, you know, I mean, I like to take risks of all rights, but I also think that this process was tough. I mean, yeah, so I don't know. I probably ain't do shit like that, but because there's so much music to do. You know? I mean, I'm accidentally in 3 bands, and I also got a couple other ideas around and kicking around.
How did I get here?
And I got 3 little short people that live in my house there. So, yeah.
Do you direct a script?
Okay, let's take another question. Let's take something from further back. There's someone right in the middle.
There's someone in the middle.
I'm a
That's
writer,
me.
I want you to do
Hi.
this.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, how you going?
I'm very well. I just wanted to, I've been an Iggy Pop fan for many years and seen him many times. And I just wanted to say thanks to you and the guys for giving Iggy the band that he truly deserves to play his amazing repertoire. Because that show at Albert Hall, as Norman has pointed out, was incredible. I just wondered if there was one song in particular from his repertoire that you particularly enjoyed playing.
I mean,
Can I give you a clue to what's in my mind?
yeah, absolutely.
Watch the movie.
That's a fucking hard question.
I know,
So,
exactly. So 16 is the one for me that I just thought
Yeah.
was absolutely
which is like kind of complex because it's actually made up of 2 things going on, but it's so to get that right, you know, I think Iggy is known for a lot of things, but patience is not necessarily one of them. So he's like, go. And he always has this abundance of boundless, let's go, motherfucker. And so we needed to be ready before I could just feel that, you know. So I mean, we rehearsed for 2 months and went on tour for 6 weeks, you know, and it felt like it would be so wonderful for him to come into rehearsal and try to blow his mind with how it sounded, without trying to reinterpret anything, but actually get it how as close to how it sounded as possible. And you know, the first day of our rehearsal, Bowie passed the night before, and then he had to fly in, so that could really go wrong, you know. And I called him at midnight, which is 4 in the morning in Miami. I said, "Whatever you got to do, if you don't got, if you ain't gonna come, I understand." But inside, I was thinking, Iggy's a man, like a real man. Like you should come, and, you know, hoping that. And I didn't even finish asking. He's like, "I'm coming," and that was the first day of rehearsal. It was the best fucking rehearsal ever. Like it was like, and so much of that I felt like a spectator or like a fan in the audience too, but just with really good seats. And so, even though it's a very popular song of his, to be able to play the passenger and open those chords is like, this shit's tight. You know? Like that feels really good. You know? It's really hard to take a compliment, but thank you, that's cool.
Were you guys filming that? Because I know there's rehearsal footage.
Not of that, because, you know, some things need to disappear into the ether and just be those memories, because you can't get it all, you can't take it with you, you know, but the memories you can. And you don't want to accidentally crush something delicate, you need to like let it happen first, you know. And that's why the way Dre's demeanor is, how he can be there and be part of it and active in it, but also not crush it. And we had such a great dialogue about what to look for, and you know, there's all these beautiful overhead things that combined into one city into the next. And we'd be standing along this river that was really more like drainage, but it had flooded, and the fact that it flooded in Miami and there's like a tire floating down this thing, and we're just standing there like, that's disgustingly beautiful, like, looking for the treasures in the trash and having a common interest in that is like collaborating, felt like collaborating with music. It felt that same way, you know? Yeah. And so to get all that stuff, and then yeah, that's just rewarding, you know. And you don't really know, because I don't fucking make movies. I don't know how that works. But you're chasing it anyways, and it's good that it ends up being up there. It's like, I guess that was the point. I just didn't think about it that much in the time, you know.
Can we talk about the diary thing? Because Iggy had this dossier that he sent to Josh, which kind of in a way kicked off the whole project. And we see it in the film, and it's incredible. It's like a relic or something already. But another big part of the film is all of you involved in the band of kind of reading from your personal notes and diaries, which
Well,
I've never really seen you or any of those.
I
They
haven't-
included be
yeah.
that.
I think that for me, that what is important about that, like I never kept a diary, but I just thought I should. I never thought I would read it because, well, next I'll read from my dream journal. Page full. But what's important about all that is everyone kept something and felt the need to. We didn't really discuss that. And also, you know, I think that sometimes for whatever reason you try to protect yourself and do all this stuff, but I think you'll see that everyone that is in this had this sort of unfiltered appreciation and isn't really trying to hide it, you know. And I think that translates well. Like
That's what's special about the whole project. Every single thing seemed like you were all very, very aware that it would only happen once.
White next.
Hi, yes, what up? I have a question about now when you have an influence about Iggy Pop and making this album, thinking about it, who you, if you have to come back to make another album, one of your heroes, who would that be?
honestly, I probably should have more goals or something written down, but that was it. Basically, I'm done, I'm good. Plus, if you make it through that without being, you know, that's a gauntlet that just got run. I'm sort of like, you know, and you know, I don't want to run through a list of things like that. It just was, that was it.
Yeah.
You know.
Who else?
Drunk boy.
Yeah.
In the middle and rotate.
Question for both of you. For a talent and a personality as material as Iggy Pop, how do you prepare to capture that in both your mediums as a filmmaker and as a musician?
It's an interesting question because I, as well, like my way of doing the things is not really planning it, because as soon as you have a plan, something else, everything happens.
Yeah.
I fucking love you.
I also think that, you know, I don't try to alter somebody. Like, I have some really weird friends that are very eccentric, and then that's what I like about them. So I don't try to change that because what do I know about what you should do, you know? And so it's more like just accepting that, you know? And I love, as I said before, that positive friction. It's like, I mean, that's how you make babies too. It's like, so I just.
And the nicknames that were sewn on said jackets.
It's Barkley.
Well, you know, we were sort of like, well, we're Iggy's gang. The first thing we played, it's a very inside joke. They said the Meal Deal Boys because we were always looking for a good value on lunch. but once we played on this television show in the States to sort of announce this thing, that the feeling was so electric, so immediate, like, oh wow. It felt like getting shocked by something brand new that I hadn't been shocked by before. As someone that's been shocked many times. And we were coming down the stairs and the rest of the boys were like, wow, what was that? That was amazing. And I said, well, it can't just come from me. If that's the way you feel, you should tell him, you know? Because it felt like we were in his gang, you know? And so we all go downstairs and they were like, we just want you to know, we don't want anything, but we got your back, you know? And so we're standing in his dressing room, we're in all these tuxedos and shit, and he got a little mischief, he was like, thank you, and he poured this, you know, this champagne, and he stood up and cheers, and we're in tuxedos, and he was naked. And so, like, it felt like we're in his gang, we got this armor, and he's naked.
Joshua, I got a gift for you. Can I give it to you?
Can you give it to me? That's a very general question.
Josh, I'm scared.
I hope you like the hygiene.
Thank you.
No worries. This is for the gold tooth.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
How do you follow that? How do you follow that?
Yeah.
All right, another question. In the white at the back on the left. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hi. During the recording of the album and also the footage, did you find that there was personal and professional relationships that were split, or was it more of a sort of a big boys club, or how did that work with the dynamic between all of you?
Well, I mean,
Hi there. Are there any stories working with you that didn't make it to the film?
you mean like just high point
Just
things?
gossip.
That's so English. No. I think that there are some things that should be just for you, and I definitely think that there were some moments that you just got to hold on to, that they're yours, and you've earned them if you're in that situation. When you're in that situation, they're yours too. That I kind of don't want to give away or share, because that's just, you know, your own version of like, I got the fucking cold for a second, you know? And it really is like, it's too precious to give away. But by the same token, reading from the journal, that's not that easy to do if you're me. And also sharing as much as possible, so that in an attempt to really get across honestly as possible what went on. Because I know, and I don't want to have to speak for you too much, because that's what everyone should do for themselves, but I don't mind how I look, or how it's taken, or you know how something's interpreted, as long as it's real, you know. Because who cares? Everyone makes mistakes and shit like that, but like as long as it's how it was, then that's fine.
Yeah, I have two things for that as well. Like so lots of things didn't make it, but the bigger problem was for this film to find, and Josh was mentioning Josh here, the writer and producer who has to be mentioned, and Tim Wilcott, the editor. They had the responsibility to choose from all this footage. He didn't find any friction. So how do I find friction? It was a funny question. So there was no friction. So what is this film about? Was the big question, of course, when you stand on a mountain of footage, and then you have to choose what is the right thing and what message you wanna come across. And I just wanted to tell one quick story. Yesterday I watched a screening in Germany, and there was I have a half brother in Munich, and I come from Munich, so he was there. I didn't see him for a long time, but what I know is that my two brothers, they are a little bit like, they don't know really what they want to do. They're in their early 30s, and they just drag between things. They don't know exactly what they want to do with their lives. And there was a cool thing afterwards when we went for dinner. He told me, this film made me realize I have to do what my dream is. I want to follow my dream. Sounds very corny, but it's like, he said, I'm gonna change my life now after this. And that is what this thing is about. It's about really like two creatives coming together, making something, and both of them are so authentic and only do what they think is cool, and making no compromises at all. And that's, I think, what's in the end this is about. And coming back to your question, so there's, to communicate that thing, there's a lot of footage not now after tens of hours of footage we have, but it's the right stuff in there, I think, and it's very close.
Well, and I also think Joss, who, you know, we were trying to make things without outside influence, because oftentimes when people come in or they're funding something, they're like, you know, it's if you're doing a painting and someone walked in and said, oh, this looks great, just put some red right there. You know? And so, in all honesty, now that it's over, I can say this, that, you know, when Joss came in, I almost was hell-bent on, like, want to listen to him first, and if need be, like, you know, try to force it to go in this way, because to me, Andre, it was about why make something, what's the point, why would you do that, why not, you know, why not work on your brand and try to sell some fucking water or whatever, you know, it's like, and what does that mean compared to wanting to brand someone with a hot iron and leave a mark and do something? And when you get older, and Iggy's 70 now, so that his perspective in music and rock and roll, it's like, there's not a lot of that perspective out there. Why make some? What's the point unless you are willing to throw yourself all the way in there? And in working with Josh, he got to that right away, and I was like, because I almost expected to have to sort of wrangle this in because it's an esoteric idea. Why make some? What's the point? Which doesn't have the friction and all these things, but he got that right away, and so we were free to move in the right direction, everyone together, and so there was no friction there either. So thank you for that.
Clap for Josh.
Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Punch him!
Let's go.
Seriously, like.